aside from the fact that I wasn't a proven trader yet. So I borrowed money. I had a client, and I borrowed $250,000. $250,000, more money than I've ever seen in my life. I literally was on the train home from New York. I had a $250,000 check in my pocket, and I was the most paranoid guy in Central Station. I thought everyone was going to mug me. I've never been so scared in my life. To me, that 200, that's worth more than my life at the moment. So I borrowed some money and said, you know, I'm going to manage money, and that's how I'm going to make money. And here's what happened. It started off well. I was making about 2%, 3% a month, which was my goal. My goal is to make 3% a month with really low drawdown, and I was achieving that goal. However, my client wasn't too satisfied with that. I'd tell him the good news. I'd be like, hey, we had another 2% month. You know, we've made this much money. And then he'd ask me, well, how come we didn't make more? And I try to explain to him, well, you know, it's a really risk-free trading technique. You know, I don't trade a large position size, but I limit my drawdown so there's, you know, your money's not too exposed. And he was like, well, if your percentages say this, I showed him my back testing results. If your percentages say this, why don't you just trade more? And then this guy used to be in my ear. It'd be every day. He'd be one of those clients that one of those clients that thought he knew more about the market than I did. So yeah. Jason says that's every client you will ever have. So he would do stuff. He'd watch CNBC, and there'd be something about, oh, the ECB says this. You know, everyone's selling euros and buying dollars. And I get a phone call. Hey, I just heard this on the news. Did you buy the dollar today? And I'd be like, well, no, there was actually this happened on the dollar. So I'm actually going short the dollar right now, so I'm selling it against the euro. Why? Everyone on the news is saying this. And you know, I would try my best to brush it off, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what? this is the guy that is giving me the money. Really, I should be, you know, I kind of work for this guy, and if he has an idea, I should take that into account. Now, if you're taking notes, I'm pointing out stuff that you should never do. You should never do this. If you ever have a client in the future, you should tell them that you are not to call me. I will give you a statement once a quarter, and that's it. But again, I didn't know any better. I felt he was in a position of power. So I'm taking this guy's advice, and I start, you know, getting away from my trading plan and making impulsive decisions based on what I think he wants. And, you know, my trading starts to go downhill. So I have you know, my trading goes bad for a little bit. And of course, the client's upset that my trading goes bad. So next thing he's like, well, we got to make a comeback. So I want you to increase the position size. And I'm like, well, you know, it's not a good idea because then we're going to be more exposed, and you know, a drawdown is a big drawdown is bound to come, and I don't want to blow your account. He's like, no, I don't care about that. You're consistently profitable, right? And I'm like, yeah, my system's been proven to be consistently profitable. Well, then in the long term, we'll make money. So I want you to double and triple the position size, so we can make 10% a month or whatever. So instead of saying no, instead of sticking to my guns and saying, you know, that's not a good idea at all, I'm like, all right, well, you know, we'll do it. I already lost a little bit of your money, so I don't want to make him upset. You know, I don't want this client taking his money back, so I do it. And guess what happens next? We have a big drawdown, and I lose $30,000 of this guy's money within a few weeks. $30,000. Yeah. Now, I am at fault for that. I didn't have a proper trading portfolio. I should have stuck to my plan. But with the increased position size, a drawdown came like I expected. And because we tripled and doubled and tripled the position size, well, we're just losing a lot more than we should. Now, a $15,000 loss, a $10,000 loss wouldn't have been that bad. You know, you're based on a $250,000 account. But I'm doubling and tripling that, so I'm losing more. And here's what's worse, guys. This is I didn't really mind losing $30,000. That, you know, it felt bad, but you know, here's the worst thing. So I go through this week, and I have this big drawdown, and I have a complete